You can see the writing on the pavement. Young kids, they're growing up in basements. Online, a whole new generation. I'ma make mine, so you better go take it. Always, they need a new replacement. Decentralized, can't contain it. We're changing lives, yeah, upgrading. Call it suicide of the older generation.
What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it.
What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Good evening and welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Good to see everybody out here tonight. People are rolling in as we talk, coming to you live from up here in the International Fake Station, 250 miles above you in your imagination. And if you don't believe me, you can just see, look at when I do like this, see how I float? You see? You see? And sometimes I get too far over the other way a little bit like that, and I have to push myself back over. There we go. I got just as many green screen glitches as the rest of the astronauts, and that's how you know that this shit is real. All right. So let's see who all we got going on in here. Got Mike Smith, I see. Let me go in here. Austin Murphy's with us tonight. Brian Stavely, Charles B, Emilios Man, Michael Finnan, Mike Smith, Plowboy 6656, the Melt Shack, and username redacted. And that's just so far. Saw an interesting thing here recently. Did you guys see what is going on with these multi-billion-dollar corporations shooting themselves in the foot at the expense of an agenda? I think that's interesting. We had Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch lost over $5 billion. And it's that was the other day. I'm sure it's much more than that now, over the Dylan Mulvaney fiasco. And of course, YouTube getting rid of like some of its best creators, demonetizing big names we're seeing, and it's in lieu of an agenda. And then here today, I see where Fox News got rid of Tucker Carlson, which, wow, I've seen a lot of, outside of Tucker Carlson, I don't know why anybody would even watch Fox at all. Yeah, I'm going to pin a link here in just a second there, Bern. I didn't know. Give me just a moment. But whether you think Tucker's real or not, it's really, he was a big part of the market share. and it already did drop the stock value of Fox News. So I'm seeing a pattern going on here where they are shooting themselves in the foot financially at the expense of an agenda. And I think it's rather telling. YouTube is doing it. Your major news outlets, if you want to call them that, propaganda outlets, are doing it. And it's I don't know. But as long as people are still brain dead and believing in all that crap, that's what we're gonna have. That's exactly what we're gonna have. I've put the link to the panel in the chat. Fox controlled op anti-white. Well, see, that's the thing. Username redacted. I think it's some are speculating that it's over the Dominion lawsuit that they settled for, I forget, some ungodly amount of money. But I can't say there would have been other heads rolling because he's not the only contributor that was on about that. So I don't know. I think it's more at the expense of an agenda. They want, and I think it's also part of that Tucker's anti-war. He's not carrying the war propaganda line is the rest of them are. You know, the narrative that the Ukraine is kicking ass and all this shit going on, and as we find out by the cleverly leaked document, that it is anything but what they did. Over 700 million. Go woke, go broke. Yeah, I mean, look, this is the thing. People are pushing back. You know, they think they can just hold you by the balls and make you put up with some of these. And we'll get into some of the more controversial shit here in a little bit. We'll be going on because we're going to be talking about pseudoscience and how it has permeated into our lives to such a point where, oh my God, it just blows me away, you know, because you call out pseudoscience, people will say, well, if it wasn't for this said pseudoscience, then you wouldn't have that computer that you're talking on right now, or that telephone, or whatever other little device. And it's one had nothing to do with the other. The motherfuckers up in this thing growing potatoes upside down had nothing to do with whether or not I have a computer or a cell phone or even a blinker bulb in my fucking Jeep. You know, none of that has anything to do with it. And this is part of it, is the conflation between actual science, which, let's look at what science actually is. Most people, when they say, the word science, they think of a guy lab coat, test tubes, and microscopes, and horn rim glasses and that kind of thing. And that's not what it is. Science is a quest for truth. Okay. I hope
Sean shows up.
And it's a process. It's not a thing. It's not a god. It's not a person. It's not a thing. Okay.
Is it a body?
No, it's not. Like when they call the body of science, you could have the body of scientific thought, because there's many people that are engaged in the same process. The only problem is, as we found out, Burn the Corporate Fiction looked up the carbon 14 dating. And if you haven't seen the video on that, y'all need to go back and look. I cut out the part of the live stream and made just a standalone video of that part. And what we found out, this is what they tell you. This is such and such an amount of years old, and this dates back to this date and the other. When we found out the intricacies of what carbon 14 dating was, it was like, it was about as good as Santa Claus tracking bread,
You said if carbon 14 exists in nature, right? Yeah. If it exists in nature, and if like the solar or the cosmic radiation accelerates its breakdown or whatever, right? And this is a bunch of ifs, and we can assume that this and that, right? And then they said, and he says, we know 14, right? And they said, well, how do you know the fucking half-life of carbon 14? And we looked that up, and it's based, a bunch of horse shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, what was that one? They said, and we know this is wrong, but we have to use it or our calculations doesn't work. And I'm like, oh my God.
He
Well,
said we can.
here's another question. Wait, here's another question. What calendar are we even using?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a good question as well, actually, legitimately. And on top of that, though, he said we can assume, he said something where he said, we assume that this happens with cosmic radiation, and we can assume that this amount was in it to start with. Now, both these assumptions are wrong, but they're necessary for our calculations. You guys have to go watch that
It
video.
sounds like the white coats operate like the black coats. Wink.
No, he said that both of their assumptive values that they're calculating with are wrong, but they're necessary for the calculation to be right, which doesn't make any sense.
No, it actually makes perfect sense because this is what they do, because they think that mathematical equations equal reality, but you can insert a freaking logical fallacy and you get a fun. That's exactly what they do. And it sounds like what the bar does.
Well, it's just like with their
Yes.
calculations, they found their calculations were wrong, and they had to invent black holes. And the whole explanation was that, well, if they didn't exist, then our calculations would be wrong. Well, guess what? You know, it's like, what do you mean if they, so you don't know they exist, you just assume, like the carbon-14, that it must exist. And if it didn't exist, then your math wouldn't be right. You're gonna use
Right.
it.
That's what the church did with original sin. So we take natural law and we invent this Jesus Mary, this Jesus of Nazareth, not nonsense. So there you build your model. It's all the same thing. You insert your presumption assumption to create your narrative.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes,
when are we going to move beyond this, guys?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. Is a lot of assumptive values. For instance, with the distance to the sun, right? Well, they had two people in two different places witness Venus transit the sun, and since Earth is about since Venus is about the same size as Earth, then they were able to calculate the distance to the sun. And it's like, wait a minute, how the fuck do you know the size of Venus? You just threw that in there. You just throw that assumptive value in there. You don't know how big Venus is. You don't know really even how fucking far away it is.
Because
So how can you use any of its values when they're all unknowns?
It's all assumptive. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And it's so what they do is they say, oh, okay, these appear to be balls in the sky. Okay. And we must be a ball. We must be a ball because they're a ball. And therefore they have the same properties as we do that we assume, like gravity. We assume that there's gravity within this theory. Okay. But if you think about it, if that apple would have dropped a couple inches next to him and landed in a pond or in a bucket of water, then where would the gravity thing be? You see, it is all about the buoyancy and density. You do have a downward vector, and that's an electrical function. It's an electrostatic function. And yes, you can call that function G in your fucking equations all the hell you want to. But what you're calling G is actually an effect of an electrostatic effect. It's not because of some molten fucking core of shit in I mean, how would you even know what's in the earth?
I mean, no, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know what the hell's in the earth. You know what I mean? And also another farce of that is molten metal loses its magnetism anyway, right?
Yeah, the Curie point. I think it's at 5,000 degrees.
Right.
It loses any magnetic properties whatsoever.
Right. Yeah. That's, another thing I was just thinking about is you got to think look at what is NASA really funding? All that money, what are they really funding? You look at all the fucking, like how we were talking about the death cult on my show last night and all that stuff, and NASA's in tight with Disney, right? And it's really Hollywood that gives us our concept of space, not NASA, right? So what is it that, so it is, no, and they have better special effects than NASA.
But actually, I have something in U.S. code where actually the department, I'm sorry to interject, but it was like the Department of army and film, and yeah. DOD is Hollywood and Disney and all that, and I've got their own records. Anyway, go ahead.
Did you know
no,
that
but that's-
embedded with the very first American unit to come across one of these death camps in Europe in World War II happened to have the United States Army Psychological Warfare Division along with a Hollywood film crew, complete with a director, a very well-known director who accidentally stepped into the frame of some of the footage, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Everything you see is a production. Okay, everything that they try to run on you is a production, whether it's 9/11, whether it's
January 6th.
whatever. Yeah, January 6th, it was a fucking production. My God, and there again, the guy who just lost his job, Tucker Carlson.
Oh,
he was given access to all that footage, and you see that it was nothing as to what was being accused.
Wait a minute. He did not lose his job. Listen, this guy is going to do an Alex Jones. This guy is not good. Listen.
Oh, listen, I'll tell you what. I guarantee
you. Do a Joe Rogan. He's going to.
Who are you talking about?
Tucker Carlson.
I actually like Tucker, believe it or not, man. I think he was heavily brainwashed, right, for a long time. But like once this whole, Event 201 thing happened and all that stuff, it's no surprise he got fired. He put out that the term conspiracy theorist was created by the intelligence community.
Wait, has he been? Listen, I don't watch the news. Is he fired? Did he?
Yeah, he got fired. So he did a segment on that. He did a segment on he's done. I can't even say the titles of the segments he's done on YouTube because I'll get the fucking channel struck. That's the type of shit he's been doing recently.
Well, I think about if he actually like Rumble picked him up.
That's what listen. Wait, come on, guys. Let's slow down. He's gonna listen. I'm not saying anything. Listen, the guy's a millionaire. He's well set, and he has a familiar history. I'm putting that aside. He's going to come back bigger and stronger.
Yeah, getting fired from. So I've got a good buddy. Anyways, he knows a bunch of people, and he's got some friends in production, knows some people, and he says Fox has turned totally libtard. Right?
It has.
No, they've stepped right in line with the whole liberal agenda, with the whole Dylan Mulvaney horse shit that they're trying to push.
Before
that, have my sound now, or it's still weak.
No, we got you, bro.
Okay, then. Finally.
Listen, I'm never going to forget that people on Fox News, the right wing, for the record, Sean Hannity said people that 9/11 want
American Dad
executed. Fox News is on the record.
Well, let us not forget about the how do I say this? Well, no, I can say because it's on fucking YouTube. They got videos of it. The Israeli connection to 9/11.
Oh, the Israeli.
Okay. Oh, Israeli. Yeah, they busted a couple of Israeli
art students.
If I may interrupt, gentlemen, it's Iran-Contra, 1980s again. Same shit.
Yeah.
Same carousel. You go round and round and round in the same carousel.
Yes, absolutely.
Every 10 years.
Well, not only did they bust, or not only were those film students dealing with explosives, right, inside the building or whatever, right, but that's unproven, right? Even though if you look at pictures of the boxes where the company that the boxes come from make detonators, fuses and shit, right? Yep. Anyway, but aside from that, they arrested the FBI. I believe it was the FBI arrested. No, it was a cop. A cop arrested. His name. I actually have the interview in my YouTube history with the cop.
Yeah.
He arrested a couple of Israelis. That were in a van that were filming and dancing and cheering. Right. When the towers got hit, when they interviewed these Israelis, they said they were there.
Video where they went. Wait, I have the video.
Hold on, I was getting to the best part, Eric. The best part. He said they were there to document the event.
Yes.
So you're speaking about the first Zeitgeist movie now?
Zeitgeist.
Oh, that's been out. That's a lot of people. That's old. That's old news on that.
Yeah, he's speaking on that interview with that dude.
I remember when the news reported that came out, and then there was no more about it.
All
know,
of
I got-
Wait,
the
no.
top
There's
stuff.
actually, they were
I have a
on,
2-hour
on
documentary.
Israeli TV. There's
I'll look
also
up the
a
cop's
video
name right
in
now.
Hebrew.
What is it, K2? You said something there?
Yeah, I have a 2-hour documentary on everything the Israelis did for the last 70 years.
Oh, yeah. What's it called?
That hell of a
Was it-
documentary.
What's it, a 10-hour documentary? That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
No,
right.
it's
Like to
2
cover all
hours
that shit.
and 3 minutes. It's produced in
Hey.
2009.
Hey, do you guys are
Not
you guys
Carlo.
anybody familiar with Professor Normal Finkelstein? Because he's coming back, and I've met the guy.
No.
Yeah.
No, you talking about Rabbi Finkelstein?
No, Norman Finkelstein. He's a
no.
professor. He was a communist, but he stood against Israel, and he's got his career destroyed.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about. It took me a minute to place the name.
he came from the Chomsky school.
You can't do that.
Repurposing now. He was on Glenn Greenwald, the gay. So it's coming back, man. Let's be careful, man. The anti-Semitism.
It never went anywhere. What do you mean?
Right.
I'm very sorry. Oy vey, I am a Oharam Jew. They hate me, so
Wait,
I have been shunned. So
you are a Jew?
So we
my
should
mother was
actually, and
Jewish
you know what? I'm
born.
glad.
Man, let the dude talk.
My mother was Jewish born, so technically I am a Jew. But yeah,
Yep.
we're travelers, so we don't count.
You're sojourned.
Yep.
Okay.
I've often
So you just
considered
stuff them all
joining Judaism because it seems like the most pragmatic religion to join.
Yeah. The Finkelstein interview with Art Bell, it's so funny it falls in this.
It's
conversation.
completely fake. Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, a rabbi is no more than Joe Bob from the street that hands out the lectures and the skills for the money and sits back down. So he ain't a priest. And he is telling a story, although on the matzo balls and the things, I have read Jewish law books. You don't want to read them.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Are you getting into like the blood libel?
There are from Jewish traditions, several teachers, they are called, former priests, that have written law books that still are used. And yeah, as normal Gentile, no.
Well, in 1666, what was it? Sabbatai Zevi?
Yeah,
He declared himself. He declared himself the Antichrist.
I have his books on an old CD-ROM somewhere. Zion Levy. Someone gave them to me in 2005. I took it in. The star people, the lions and the lyras and the birds, and yeah, it's Darwin only Star Wars style. Sorry, and yeah, so they hated me too. So bye bye.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like anytime you start to tell any truth, like when I point out like the topic is, this pseudoscience. People get freaking angry about the shit. Like I put out the video where I cut out or burned the corporate fiction. He was looking up and we
I was smiling so hard when you showed the short fits on the paper articles, 1800s, 1910. Those I will not mention the numbers again. 6.
Well, so the thing is like my favorite troll that comes in here, Sean Hawkins. The video hadn't been up 10 minutes, and he shared it in his community post. And the caption was, "This was like watching monkeys beat a computer with sticks."
Yeah, 12 monkeys maybe.
And I'm
I
like,
would watch that though.
and I'm like, wait a second, you just promoted my video and that's all you have to say on it. Anybody that watches it, look, we're looking up what the fuck it actually is, and it's telling you right there that it's a bunch of fucking bahooey.
Those that are on the media and in the forefront, they know how to talk and how to say the right things. Same with Oprah Winfrey, the writer on the book. and a boy with an apple.
Never take the jab.
Oh
Exactly.
man, there is so much stuff, and I cannot talk about it because I already had some visitors.
So I did want to say something real quick, just a 2-second comment earlier when you did make the distinction between anti-Semitism. So to use the correct term would be anti-Zionism, not anti-Semitism, because there's a big difference.
As a Semite, yes. As a Jiddisher,
Wait,
that's another term. There are different religions within the Jewism. It's
Well,
the
see, the
same.
whole thing, the Semitic actually refers to a language group. If you want to
Right,
go all the way
Middle
back,
Eastern.
Semitic, and that goes to that's the Arabs, the Palestinians, the Syrians, the Libyans. All of those people are of Shemitic background. That's
Right.
a
Yeah,
language
yeah.
group. It's not a race.
Right,
The
exactly.
same night you took the 3 vids I posted to you, there was one vid where there was the China map with all the lines, blue, yellow, red. That's
Listen,
the dispersion.
the anti-prefix, especially with the dash,
Mhm.
was made up by a certain group of social engineers. So the
Yeah.
anti-prefix is a non sequitur. It's
There's a
And instead of the apotheose at the end of a scene or something, it's an antipiose. It's to get you into the spell and get you looking at other things and distracted.
well, it's
Same as
like the FBI has a record that that I'm anti-government, which makes no sense because first you got to reverse it. What is government? Well,
yeah,
It's mind
stop,
control, literally.
no, wait, no.
subjecting the mind with ID. And the first law of Rome is you have just law, otherwise the people revolt. They got that in 400 BC in this count of years. And the second rule of Rome, if you're a fool, it's your fault. You did not inform yourself. Goodbye.
right.
Right.
Yep, that is the truth. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it's the four classes system. The whole Western Europe modern system is based on Rome. Yeah, first they fucked over Greece. Oh, sorry, we're still on YouTube.
Yeah. We'll cut over to the other here in a little bit.
Yeah.
First they made Greece bend over. They took all their scriptures. They did that together with Egypt and possibly Minos on the island with the bull labyrinth. That came.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, there's an
That's-
interesting picture I got a hold of here too.
After that, we had some sort of flooding. That's when the Salt Sea got filled with water, and after the filling of that dune pan that was filled with salt because they traded in salt from that city, they made a hole in it and checked out the water spillage of it and made a clepsydra of it. And it's the biggest clock, the biggest wall clock in the world. Every time they go to war, we kill each other, they laugh, take the spoils, and start the whole shebang over again.
Wait, so that region, that sort of Asiatic, isn't it kind of queer that we've got the Dead Sea and the Black Sea and the
And those are all different denominations from other places, so they can say Jerusalem is here and there is Gehenna. That's why all the rivers in America that was called Americas, the land of the serpent, snake, at least the top part, North America. South America is a whole different story.
South America's in the wrong freaking place. It moved, man. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, that's why you have Middle Africa, Middle America, Middle Asia. Where's Middle Europe?
Middle Earth.
Yep. And the
You know
same way,
who's running this shit, right?
and now they're going to be very pissed about it. I explain this now. Those old maps before 1740, that time, You got the four lands in the
You
top.
still there? Are
Do you
we
still hear me?
glitching?
I'm glitching.
Yeah, I think the whole thing glitched. I don't know.
Oh, not for us, it didn't.
Oh, it did for
Test,
me. Okay.
test, echo.
Good for me.
Okay. The four lands you see in the cartographic representations from the 1600s and 1500s. There's always this island that is attached to the land. What's it called in English? An atoll or something. And that's Finland. And then you get Norway, Sweden, and Greenland. That's the four land masses in the center. So there is no land at the North Pole. They have shown over and over again, North Pole is only sea ice.
You know, I wonder. I wonder if it's only sea ice because there's so much depictions of there being land there, especially in the past. Even
Yeah,
going into the accounts
that's
of
going.
expeditions that were done. I mean, I'm talking about people's writings from like 500 BC.
Yeah, when the North Pole is totally frozen, they can fare they cannot take ship over it. And then when the temperature rises, like the middle shit, how is that called? Middle Ages warm period from 1200 till about 1560. They had no winters, so there was no North Pole, and they took a boat and said, "We're gonna take a look over there." Yeah, still there was some ice, just like now. The North Pole is 9 times as high as 10 years back.
Well, see,
I bel
we can only go by what they tell us
Yeah, and
because
that's
and
the fun
we
of it. They gave us so much data. You can use their own data against them. They
well,
say,
that's just it. Is the data that they're giving us even factual? You see, we know that they're lying to us on maps. We know that they're lying to us with all the rest of the imagery. Why wouldn't it stand to reason that they would sow a narrative through their data as well?
yeah,
We can't go above the 60th parallel north.
and
We
now we
can't
need
go
to.
below the 60th
Wait,
parallel south.
I got a question because it's on the record that I like living in Southeast Asia. I like the two seasons.
Yeah,
I-
you like living like a white people guy in Asia.
well, that's
You ever
part of it.
have you
Wait,
ever taken on the fourth caste in India?
I
No
haven't.
money, no house, no nothing.
Oh, that's an interesting. Wait. No, put. Listen, I'm just saying. So they're obsessed about global warming. That's evil. It's almost as if they're obsessed with freezing the energy.
Yeah, yeah. I went to the. I'm born in 1979, so I went to a basic school, as it's called in Holland, in the 80s. We had the bomb, the nuke. We had to duck under the desk, and that would save us. Yeah, okay.
I think there again, there's another one example of pseudoscience
Yeah, it's
and
the same
being
thing.
used as this bullshit because it's been shown that the the devastation that we were shown of two bombs that we dropped supposedly at Hiroshima and Nagasaki is greatly exaggerated. What a lot of people don't realize is that those fucking cities had been firebombed to ruins before any bomb was even dropped.
I know you
The
have.
radiation difference between Chernobyl and Japan is kind of stark.
Well, there again, it's like there's nothing. I mean, there's people that have been living in Chernobyl even after they were told to get out, they just didn't,
Yes,
and
and
they've been doing
Yeah,
fine.
Japan had two nukes dropped on it.
Yeah,
there
I
were
mean, and it's a
there were
little
two
island. You would
bombs.
think that
Yes.
it would still be deserted.
Well, and
There-
here's where the whole thing lays, okay? Because as we have found out, the model of what an atom is
Mhm.
has been shown now recently to be completely fucking wrong. Okay,
They tell us
we'd
now
never
it's
even
wrong.
it was theoretical.
I can tell you why it's wrong now because there is a new science coming that has been discussed by Michio and Mr. Grassface Tyson, and you
Grass
name
face.
you name them, all from TV and documentaries and the Discovery Channel.
The
Yeah,
actors.
man, how many Hitler and how many pyramids can I see? Come on, man.
Right, right.
Shark Week, one
Just
week a
for the
year.
record, I am eating kosher food.
That's your choice. You're a human. Your house, your choice.
Someone told
So,
me, I don't remember where, that kosher slaughtering methods are cruel. Was that here?
yep, yep.
You fuckers.
It is. It's horrible.
Why?
What do you mean?
And you never sent me the zinc, copper.
No, it's kosher pickles. I wasn't eating meat. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
Stop this discussion. Stop this discussion now, or I will stand up now in America and close down all McDonald's, Wendy's, and all the fast food shit.
Bro, I haven't
Then
eaten
tell him
McDonald's
not
in
to eat
years.
kosher. Then tell him how to live.
Haven't you heard the news? They're closing down anyway. All the corporations are going bye-bye.
I told him first clean your own house, then talk shit.
No, I agree with that, actually.
I'm not talking shit. I would talk, yeah. And I'll talk shit with a dirty house as well. I'm not above that.
No, you have a different vision and tradition and raising and education. So there will be things. Well, you say from I will never do that. It's your choice. Take the
Well, I
best
didn't
things.
say that. I just asked if it was because I have always sought out kosher meat because I feel like it's cleaner. But I guess I don't. I realize I don't actually know anything about what the kosher slaughter process is, so I could be wrong.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, the luck. My father was son of a farmer, and they had cows, they had land. So I know something of it. And in the Netherlands, about 10, 12 years back, they changed the law on slaughtering pigs, the male pig, the bear, because they were stunned before they were killed. And they said they need to be medicated so they sleep and they are not scared and blah, blah, blah. But a male pig, when it's not castrated, that's also illegal now here in the Netherlands to castrate a male pig. But when you slaughter it, the male pig has a tiny organ in his body, and from the stress, the whole meat turns sour. Same like the adrenochrome legend.
Yeah.
That meat is bitter. You don't want to eat that pig meat. So, yeah, castrate him when he's born. Sorry.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. I mean, they do it with steers all the time. I live in Kansas. I don't know shit about farming, but
Okay, you know the business.
I mean, I used to be a banker, and so I had agricultural clients, but I've never actually fucked with a cow. You know what I mean?
Okay. I know the stories of the calves that are born and then young farm guys. Take a try at the front side.
Screenshot that right there, Flow State.
So, yeah, the farm life is a hefty life, but
Who's presenting right now?
I am.
Who? Dave?
Yeah, I am.
Well, go ahead. This is your plat. This is your.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that's just that was something Flow State. I told him I'd get for him before, and he just reminded me of it. So I just took a picture of it out of my notebook.
So for me, the documentary on the axis of evil, the Earth is in the center. Everyone seen it by now? Still not.
I don't know if I've seen that or not.
Repeat what? I mean, what's the title?
Yeah, I botched up the title for the copyright scheme. Let me look. And then we got this one here. Second PC. Here we go. Oh, yep. That's my Windows. Back to the other one. That should be the link, and it should be free and open. So
It's in the private or pub. Which chat?
public domain.
No, I mean,
I have all dumped it there 2 weeks ago or something.
So anyway, like we were talking about this with this pseudoscience, right? Let's getting kind of far off topic here as far as it's concerned. We're seeing this
science.
permeate. Okay, so like another thing that they've done with this pseudoscience, and tell me what you think about this dumb shit, right? Okay, so they have this theory of gravity, right?
Little g and big G, yeah.
And they don't know what the fuck causes it or any other thing. Now they're saying, I guess it's space-time warping, and that's a whole nother thing. Okay, I'm going to get into that.
That's why I'm not welcome in the speaking lounges at the universities anymore.
Oh, if you don't toe the
I
line,
went
they're gonna shut
some
you
years
down.
ago, and they didn't like that when I asked my questions.
Well, that's
So-
the whole thing. So if you don't know what the gravity is caused by, and you're assuming that you're on a sphere with no concrete evidence whatsoever, no evidence of curvature or anything else, you just, the biggest thing is, well, look at all the things in the sky appear to be that they're spheres, and really they don't, but okay,
Luminaries.
let's just assume that they do. All right. How does that have anything to do with where you're standing? If I wanted to know the shape of my floor, am I going to look up at my fucking lights?
well,
that was my
Dave,
first.
Dave.
That was my first question to the math teacher. He said E is MC2. I said, yeah, it's relative. Yeah, but it
Dave,
works.
why-
Yeah,
why-
but it's relative. What do you mean? It's relative.
relativity.
You don't get
I
it.
got a question. Why did these quote unquote scientists in the modern era choose to use a word rooted in gravitas, which means great?
It means weight. Okay, it actually means weight. So why do things fall? Gravity, weight. Yes. What is weight? Weight is something's relative density within a given medium. Now
got
the
bought-
question is though, what causes the downward vector? And that's easily that's an electrostatic function. Okay, you're standing on a negative or neutral plate, the Earth, and you have positive electrical voltage the higher you go above you in atmosphere until you get to what they call the ionosphere. Okay. So what that does is through that energy right there causes a downward vector on both sides of those polarities. You have a canceling out. The up and the down cancel each other out until you're only left with a downward vector. So it's easily explained. If you want to call that G in your equations, well, that's all well and good. You'll still get the same results. But to ascribe that property to objects that you assume are something and assume that they must have the same properties as you do, or what you're standing on does, that's the whole, those are the assumptions that they use to make this thing work. And when anything's ever called out, there's the Holy Trinity comes to see you. The Holy Trinity of the globe is parallax, refraction, and gravity. Those are the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost right there, wrapped up in a ball for you.
Yeah, and that's why I was.
Those are the people that are gonna, when they quote unquote die, they don't understand the trust. They're gonna go to the grave, and they're gonna spend thousands of dollars to get a headstone with the all caps name, might I suggest.
Not me. Not me. I told my old lady, I said, I want you to cremate me, mix my ashes up in a douche, and run me through one last time. Huh?
That's fucking beautiful. I told my people just to throw me in the trash. I don't care anymore. Don't spend a bunch of money though. But yours is better. I'm stealing it.
I want the Viking funeral pile, man. If we're
Eric, we've already decided we're going to eat you.
But you know what, Eric? It doesn't matter. It's and I'm sure we're going to find out some more on that aspect. Everybody, you'll want to be sure and tune in tomorrow night at 9:35. I'm going to be having a guest on who claims that to have died and came back, and she's
Ooh.
going to tell us her experience. And I'm starting to see some real commonalities. I've looked into a lot of near-death experiences, people's testimonies on this, and I'm seeing some real heavy-duty commonalities in their
Like
theme.
ndref.org. Or
Yeah, I mean, there's
is
actually
Are
a
you gonna
NDE channel on YouTube that I've been looking at. That's pretty
are
cool.
you gonna link it into the um what do you call it? The Jacob's ladder sort of concept?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to let her tell her story, and if anybody's got questions and that kind of thing, and I'm sure people will,
What is
be able to ask what those questions, or if anybody else has maybe had an NDE and wants to come on panel, we can.
what is the Jacob's ladder concept in a brief summary? Just because I'm just curious.
An electric lightning blow out instead going down of up to down, plus to zero. It's going 0 to plus the sprites. That's a Jacob's ladder.
Okay, I know what you're
And
talking
tension
about.
builds up and it releases as a sprite.
or if you have more than one cock ring.
Well, wait, I think okay, so I thought Jacob's ladder existed in scripture and whatever, but then they made a movie about it, and also I would the Bruce the what's his name? What was it? I See Dead People. That was a modern.
Yeah.
Willis?
Bruce Willis and the little boy, Joel
Shyamalan?
something.
No,
Yeah.
what was? Yeah, it's a Shyamalan movie. What was the film called?
The Sixth Sense, man.
Yep.
Yeah, the Sixth Sense was a rebranded idea of Jacob's ladder. Like he didn't know he was dead. He was in
That's still not explaining the reference. Like I know what Jacob's ladder
But how does
is.
that?
supposed
Yeah,
to-
how does that tie to the near death
Jacob's
experience?
ladder is presented
well
as
because
a plasma. In the
Well-
in the movies, it's presented as a ladder with supports. You can climb the steps to heaven,
Right.
like Stairway to Heaven. Turn that backwards. The record. Have fun.
Turn that backwards. What'd you say? What was after that?
The album, the LP, the vinyl.
Okay.
Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin.
Stairway to Heaven.
Put it on a turntable and let it play backwards. Little Nicky. It's in there also.
I thought that was a
Thank you,
joke.
Satan. We kneel for you, Satan. It's in there.
I used to think that's kind of ridiculous about having that backmasking, but there's a thing about the if you look into reverse speech,
Yes.
and where we do this, we don't even realize that we do
You
this.
learn to speak,
But
to spell, to write, to meme, to echo.
well, when
others.
when I listened to some interviews with a guy named John Todd, this guy was in the record industry, and he was talking about where these are actually they do that, and not to
Johnny
mention
Todd.
that they
Oh,
actually
wow.
before the masters are released to make copies from,
Mhm.
they put them all in this temple and have some kind of a fucking ritual to embed them with spirits.
I
Yeah,
heard that too.
that's Bedlam Records and the other hard rock record of a label that died in '84 and changed into Virgin Records then.
Well, what
But it's the same with Pokemon. Pokemon is Dungeons and Dragons.
so in a so when you quote unquote cut a record, what's the mat? You can say master, but there's another term. What is it? It's the
Master tape. It's a sound
Oh,
tape with 8 tracks.
gold. The gold. So we're going into
Mm.
alchemy, turning into gold. So it's a
Oh, they can make a gold album. I see where you're going with that. Yeah.
Yeah, the French naming they use. Okay, yeah, you're right. It's gold.
But here's another interesting thing too. Out of all of the formats, there were two different formats of long play record. At one time, there was 72 RPM, and then
Yep.
there was 33 and a third RPM. And the 33 and a third is the one that ended up being adopted And
for the
as
top,
albums and vinyl are coming back, we're back to the 33 1/3. Now that's an interesting thing too.
that started
33
rock and
1/3
roll.
is 1/3.
Yep.
Okay. So 1/3 of 100% is 33 1/3. It was
Yeah.
1/3 of the angels that revolted.
And that brings us back to the Eye of Horus.
And there you go.
It's 1/3, half, a seventh, a sixth. The musical ladder. Do, re, mi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you take the other eye of his brother. So you got day and night, and they all got aspects for sun and moon. And that creates your star chart when you're born.
Mhm.
In olden days, in their traditions.
Well, I think we'd have to carbon date any of that shit. Sure.
That's actually a fascinating concept, K2.
You know, I think it's worthy of carbon dating at least.
Oh, I wish I didn't fell on my face a couple of weeks back, so I had my front teeth so I could speak properly.
So here's another thing that was born out of assumptions. Okay.
Mhm.
Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs were born out of assumption.
Dinosauria, the terrible thunder
Okay.
lizards.
There was some guy in, I forget, somewhere in Europe. It might have been England. It could have been France. Either way, this guy, he was already on about that there might have been giant lizards at one time. And some guy in Long Island found a tooth and he didn't know what it was. And he consulted with this guy, sent him the tooth. The dude sent back a sketch and told him this was obviously from a dinosaur and had a sketch of what the dinosaur actually looked like. And this actually went into the fucking newspapers. The next thing you know, people are finding dinosaurs all over the goddamn place.
Yeah, you want to know a secret? The Brontosaurus, that's a giraffe neck.
Yeah, no shit. And when you go to the museum, people say, "Well, I've been to the museum and I've seen the bones." No, you haven't.
Yeah,
You've seen replicas of the bones. You're not allowed to see the real bones because they're off in storage for safekeeping.
Sana
Of all the
Asana.
lies, I was going to say, of all the lies we've been told, I feel most robbed by the dinosaurs.
A lot of people do,
Yeah.
especially kids.
My
Oh my
wife is
God.
actually the saddest about that.
Yeah,
like,
it's
of all
a
the
total
things,
bummer.
She's like, why the dinosaurs, man? Why? You know, we were
Yeah.
watching, it's funny, she likes old school stuff like they're coming out with the Power Rangers movie or whatever. When we were kids, she's, you know, we're close to the same age, and she's got the Power Rangers on with our daughter in here, whatever, the old school, the first one. And I realized, dude, that show is nothing but dinosaur space propaganda. You got the villains are up in
and
space.
racial hate.
And racial hate, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
there
they
was
come
that
from the
as
other
well.
planet. They're monsters. The colors pink, blue, black.
The Black
Ninja
Ranger.
Turtles
Black.
was way better, but I recognize the was it transhumanism underlying it.
Well, that's actually not transhumanism, but yeah, that's transhumanism is merging.
the mutants that come
They're
from outer
mutants.
space.
They're genetically modified.
They took a little bit from Guyver, the old series from the 80s.
Right.
Manga.
Or something?
They but yeah, the Ninja Turtles, you got the bad guys are up on the planet throwing
Yep.
stuff down to their little villains they send down.
Where's
And then
everybody
each of
at?
the Power Rangers is a dinosaur, man. And then I realized, like, when I was a kid, that was like one of the coolest things. It was like, oh, he's a T-Rex. The Red Ranger's a T-Rex type thing. It's like, you know, it's just propaganda.
How old
man.
are you?
Yeah.
Who, me? 33.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm 43. Exact difference of 10 years. I had the Autobots, the real Autobots.
If I try to share that, it kills everybody.
Right on, man.
And I had He-Man and Sheila and Beastmaster.
Is everybody back?
Beastmaster.
Yeah, then you're old.
I'm gonna start referring to myself as Beastmaster.
And we still had Popeye and Olive, and Tom and Jerry could hit each other. And
Popeye was
Hanna-Barbera.
stupid. I couldn't stand his arms. Like, what is this? You eat nasty ass canned spinach and your forearm
Spinach is
huge?
amazing, dude. I love spinach. It's like
What's going on?
Yeah,
Popeye eats a gross can of vegetables and his masturbation muscles grow huge, and he can't talk. And yeah, I wasn't a fan of that at all.
that's more based on the Olympic weightlifter that took the anabols in '48 and got the big growth on his neck and on his shoulders.
Well,
That was
you
the first
know,
one that fucked up with Annabelle.
here's what's really fucking disturbing about Popeye, man, is that not only that he's got those mutated arms, but
Bluto.
him and that other motherfucker is always fighting over that anorexic bitch,
Yeah,
man.
Bluto.
How do they know that ain't really a dude? You know,
Bluto is a big dude. He's 2 meters tall or something.
I'm talking about
Against Popeye,
olive
then, huh?
oil. I'm talking about the
Everybody knows about olive oil. She's been around. They don't. She's not extra virgin anymore. She's like straight slut oil.
Well, here's what I find funny is that she's got this baby named Sweet Pea, and
Mhm.
that little fucker looks a lot like that hamburger dude, man, that wimpy guy.
Yeah,
you know?
the friend of Popeye, the
Just
round
saying.
guy.
The guy without a job, the guy that'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. I mean, he's so pathetic. You got to front him fucking cheeseburgers, you know?
Oh, yeah, I'm an 80s kid. Oh,
The cartoons are always the best because the political map, the globe, the dinosaurs, it's all cartoons, all of it.
Yes, satellites in space.
Simp,
Get him around the young.
the simp sons.
Yeah.
Yep. Get him while they're young.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's why there's a globe on the teacher's desk on kindergarten. You don't even learn anything about that type of shit. You're finger painting, but they just got to get that in your mind.
Yeah, for my 12th birthday, I asked my dad a stereo set that was a pickup, 2 cassette recorders, and a radio. And he said, "Take a paper job. Bye."
Man, they really tried to
TV on my room.
I was thinking about how they really tried to.
18.
Isn't it? Yeah, funny. It's like they've created a cultural narrative in the West, like, oh, the young son, go deliver the paper. Oh, my first job was delivering the paper. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for contributing to.
Yep. You have to rumble into society. You have to roll with the flow.
They really tried to nail us with that shit when I was a kid. I can remember because I was like in, I'm wanting to say second grade. And that was when they first came out with Earth Year or Earth Day. They first had
Tree
Earth Day.
plant day.
And I was
Tree
in
planting
second
day.
grade. And I remember because there were 2 second grade teachers in our elementary school. There was Miss Thompson, and she was like this hippie broad, and she was like really cool. And she was always playing like Three Dog Night and shit in the classroom during, indoor recess and stuff. And then my teacher was a complete fucking Nazi. She was, and she just looked like a death camp fucking commandant even. She was horrible. I hated her. I threw a big ball of clay at her one time. Anyway,
You riffraff.
Anyway, I don't want to know. I don't want to share with what happened on that, but yeah. Anyway,
well, yeah, but they had this, and I remember they had this great big huge fucking ball, and it was painted up like a globe, and we had this big parachute, and all the kids had a hold of the edges of the parachute, and we were bouncing that big fucking globe up in the air and shit, and then we had to draw a picture of the Earth and all this shit, and it was really pushing that further into you. And of course, this wasn't long after, we'd been doing our Apollo missions and going to the moon to play golf and somehow taking a fucking car up there to ride around in, and all this ridiculous shit. And nobody thinks. You look at that, and here's this ridiculous car. Forget how they even got it up there, right? But it's got this little dish on it. It's got this little fucking dish the size of a goddamn dinner plate, and it's supposedly broadcasting back to Earth. All that ways right there.
Look at that picture again. It's a flipped inside out umbrella. 100%. I swear to God. They got a flipped inside out umbrella, and the seats on the rover are the grandma's like patio chairs. The folding ones.
The frame is a something 19 something Jeep. Actually,
yeah, it's like the 60s or 70s shit. It's got the mesh sort of. Yeah, we've all sat in them.
It's got the lawn chairs with the webbing. I remember we'd have to replace that webbing. Every year.
Trying to upload a movie last couple of days. They won't take it in. I know why, because it's on the HUD. You started with 30 pictures a second. That's a movie. They put in 29.7 pictures. So they got 0.3 seconds left to do what? Subliminal. possibly you've seen from the 60s the closing of the channel, the network channel in America, and you
Yes,
see,
yes, yes.
oh, say, can you obey us? And
Yeah, listen, we covered that
it's,
one night.
ah,
Yeah, we showed that one night on the show here. It was the topic was how they subliminally program you, even just through imagery and repetition of words, like we've said before, that if you say the word terrorist, most people get in their mind an image of a Middle Eastern guy with dynamite strapped around him or some shit like that, or
yep,
an evil looking Middle Eastern guy. That's what pops into people's heads. Well, why is that?
yeah, take a
There's
step back.
terrorists in all different parts of the world. But why is that? It's because to promote this endless war in the Middle East, a war on terror, war on an idealism that can be changed and defined by whoever at any given time, they kept using that word while showing that imagery. And our Hollywood movies picked right up on it with the spy movies and 24 and shit like that, and it was just like we're reinforcing that whole thing, that there's a bunch of Islamic people that hate us and want to kill us and take us over. They always scare you with, these people want to kill you and take away your way of life. These people want
Our
Yeah,
freedoms.
Yeah, and they can flip it to the Asiatic. They can flip it into the Germans. They can flip it
yeah.
into the Christians. They can flip it into.
It's
Yeah.
difficult to translate. Is the
Yep.
narrative, a gesture in the court from a king, the fool, a nach in German, a fool. So you get the narrative, you get fooled and deceived,
Yeah.
and you go to the dance and have a drink and have fun and go home. Oh, we had a good night, yeah. Oh,
Hey,
what happened? This, and you
K2,
tell
are
the
you
story.
K2, are you familiar with a movie called Wag the Dog?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And that movie, it's great, man. And there again, there's somebody in there that's now no longer with us and under
Hmm.
suspicious circumstances. Anne Hesh
Hmm.
plays in that movie.
That's why he
Um,
went
but
to Canada five
they
years back.
were making it look like the US was at war in Albania merely to distract away from a scandal that was occurring with the president. And look, they do this shit all the time. Hey, what happened to this, that, and the other? Hey, look, a spy balloon, and everybody's over here on the spy balloon now. Oh shit, train derailment. Oh God, we got UFOs and shit. Everybody look, squirrel, squirrel.
Well,
That's what they do. And people are so fucking ADHD anymore. And it's due to
Meanwhile,
these
we're sitting there
little,
freaking messing around with the bankruptcy as or the administrating the administrative straight goes on while people are looking at spy balloons and the China.
yeah, thinking that somebody in government's going to come save them from fucking government. That's the most ridiculous shit I ever saw in my life. There are white hats, and it's like, no, not at that level of
mhm.
politics. By the time you get to that level of politics, you are such a fucking scumbag. You have
Yep.
to be, just to get there,
Yeah,
that you're no good anymore. You're
Once you hit
spoiled.
state, if you go state level, is where I think it starts.
let go all hope when you
I think
enter.
it goes even lower than that.
It starts
I
in
mean,
public
it ekes
school.
in, right? Like I've been at the lowest level of local politics, and even I did some corrupt shit, like
Well, see,
deals and stuff. But
they like to say that power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yep.
It's kind of true, but the reality of it is that power attracts the corrupt and corruptible.
Hey, wait a minute. Let's be honest. Everybody, I'm going to presume and assume that we all graduated high school.
Nope.
By definition,
Nope.
okay, we got one exception. So if you have a high school degree and you graduated high school, well, guess what? Guess what you've done? And then go up the ladder.
You've grown up.
Yeah,
You've
see,
been,
that's the whole.
you've been fed the fodder, and you've grown on the fodder and the water, and now you can go on in the system.
Yeah, well, see, I knew it was bullshit. I never needed one. Nobody's ever asked me for one or any other goddamn thing about it.
Every history book is the same. The Great Industrial Revolution. Yeah, steam power is around 4,000 years now. Go away, baby.
Oh, I know.
And they reused it to produce stuff.
What-
Nobody
what-
wanted the stuff. There was nobody in the city, so they had to go to the farms. Come work for me. I give you money. You can buy clothes. I live here. Fine, go away. Then they came back, showing their stuff, their beautiful clothes, their parasols. Yeah, people see things and want things, and then they went to the city. 10 people in one basement. You live there. That's your housing. That's the factory. And now work.
Yes, Melt Shack, it did. There has apparently been a flip-flop in that thing. We're still looking into that. I don't know if Brian's still in the chat. He can,
Yeah, we got hit with something.
but yeah, because Brian's my Mandela fucking godfather. This dude.
My
He's,
first
he
Mandela
lives-
was.
his whole town has been affected by this damn thing.
Yeah, I think didn't he do that Mandela in 2011 on the Darth Vader change and something else?
Oh, there's
Two
a
things.
whole bunch of stuff, KT.
Yeah, that was it for me, man. I had to tape.
Exponentially increasing, man. It's almost. I mean, I gave up on it because it's.
Well, that's the whole thing is like, even, and this is what I wanted to say to burn the corporate fiction. Keep your fucking eye on that Constitution. Okay. What I'm saying is keep your eye on it, and you've got it pretty well committed to memory. You know, I don't think, I mean, if the Bible can be changed while it's sitting on somebody's shelf without
Hey,
any
stop
human
manifesting
intervention-
shit like that.
What's that?
Stop manifesting that shit.
Well, I'm just saying it's very possible. I mean, this is absolutely
Wait. Who
proof
said
to me.
that? Who said
Flow
that?
state.
I did.
Flow state, because when they launched the current era with the Corona beer, Cerveza,
Yeah, baby, go.
I was starting to ask the question: is what if us truther tinfoil, what if we're to blame for manifesting what we're doing? just you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we kind of are. That's just my belief.
It's too select. It's too select because as I'm finding these verses in the Bible that have been changed have become mocking as well as blasphemous.
Which is where you would expect them to be, right?
Well, it's key things. That's what I'm saying. It's like it would have to take the concentration. No, I don't think that's possible. I don't think that it's because of people.
There are two,
because there's just too much and there's a pattern involved.
Yeah, there's also too much. That's true.
If we're created, just abstractly, if we're created in God's image, then that means that we also have creative capacity. I guess it's just my theory or belief that what happens is half, in the stars, air quotes, and then half manifested by us collectively, which is why they would spend so much time trying to influence people.
Well, I think that if that were the case, then there would have been changes like this throughout mankind's history.
I think
through the manifestation, I mean, we would have caught on. I mean, this is what's getting you, and here's what's crazy about it too, is people that should be concerned about this, like clergy, are the most defensive about it. And they're like, oh no, it's always said that. I was just misremembering and that kind of bullshit. And it's sort of like, wait a minute, man. That book is your fucking job. And when everyone knows that Isaiah 11:6 said that the lion shall lie with the lamb, everyone knows this. There's just Google Lion and Lamb Ministries and see how many fucking results you get. If there's never been lion and lamb, then that would never, ever, ever even appear. It would be wolf and lamb.
I mean, cleanliness was never next to godliness, but it still made it into popular culture.
Well, that's true, but it was never claimed to have been in the Bible either.
I thought it was.
Some people may. I know people that have claimed lines of Shakespeare are actually in the Bible, and they get that because it's in Elizabethan English.
Lenny, I'm going to tell you where, and probably Ryan cleanliness is next to godliness. I think that comes from the Bar Association with the doctrine of unclean hands, and they put that into the commercial realm.
Yeah, let's pull a break here. First, remember until after World War II, scientists and before the 1800s, the only people that could read and write were the nobles.
Well,
Some,
that's going.
No. That would no. That the they had scribes,
Mhm.
yeah, there are also monks.
right?
First, you go to seminary, you're in the cult, then you can write. They.
By the way, if you look at the Greek history,
Mhm. Which one? Old Greek, Dirty Greek, or before that?
the mainstream. So the kings
Hmm.
would climb up the mountain before they went to war, and they would go see these quote unquote witches, these oracles, right? So
Yeah,
the oracles,
oracle.
the
The
oracles were
oracle.
the early CIA, whatever you want to call it, NSA, and that's why we have a tech company called Oracle.
Yeah, if I can put something at that to inform you, it's the mystery schools of Pythagorea, the Pythia, those were priestesses, and there were 5 or 6 mystery schools in the Greek. And the kings went to Athenaeum, a special school, the highest one. And you know from the vases what they did there, the pottery from Greece and all that stuff.
Right.
You pay $50,000 to see sodomy? Wow. It's a shard.
B Maximus says, minute I heard lion was a wolf, I went to every Bible in my possession and looking, and it wasn't. So she didn't sleep for 2 days. It's listen, this is this is really strange, because there are, and this is the thing about it too, is that some of these things are mimicking along with things that are happening in our world, but there's also a pattern involved too.
Liars cannot deny.
Where there's like there's missing T's. Like, for instance, hey, there's Ironton Auditor. What's up, brother? For instance, where it says that Moses brought down tablets from the mountain, now it says tables. Charles M. Schultz no longer has a T in it.
Tablets.
Skechers, the tennis shoes, don't have a T in it, and they say that it never did. There's something about T's. There's also something to do with black, because we're seeing where Nancy Sinatra's dress has changed from white to black, and these boots are made for walking. The lyrics have changed from are made for walking to were made for walking. And some of this, and you see the religious blasphemous aspect to this too, in song lyrics. The California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas, right?
Yeah,
It
low
says,
rider.
stopped into a church, and I got down on my knees and I began to pray. Now it's I pretend to pray.
Yeah, and I know I'm too young, but I heard it through the grapevine. It's got a whole new verse in it, in the center. It's completely different, to my knowledge. I heard it through the grapevine. Oh, she was so fine, Gani honey.
Mr. T is now just Mr. as live music says. But so there's certain patterns. What was it? Kurt Cobain, the unplugged MTV.
Yep, MTV Unplugged. They changed it.
Well, the candles are no longer white on the stage; they're black. Britney Spears, when she did that "Hit Me One More Time" song with the schoolgirl outfit, the plaid dress is now black.
Yeah,
they're gonna hit Sinead O'Connor very soon. I don't know.
And it's like, and also she never had the fucking headset.
No, they won't take Sinead O'Connor. They take the wife of Will Smith because she got the right headdress.
Oh yeah, she shaved her head like Sinead O'Connor. Yeah, it was in protest against
pretty soon when she ripped up I don't know what it's going to be changed as she ripped up, and she's going to have a full head of hair. Watch. I mean, that was a historical.
Yeah, or another wig on top and none on the bottom.
Well, there's even historical events that seem to be inserted, and there again, with the theme of black, is the Black Tom explosion of 1916.
The Black Album, Metallica, Black.
So it's like, what the hell is the Black Tom explosion? I'd never heard of this, but apparently there was this huge explosion set off by German saboteurs. That blew out all the fucking windows in lower Manhattan, would have registered about 5 on a Richter scale. It damaged the torch arm of the Statue of Liberty, and nobody's been able to go up in it ever since. I've never heard of this damn shit.
It's funny because the first X-Men movie kind of suggested that, where Magneto and stuff, and something.
Yeah, also,
there was an event in the torch.
Sit back, gentlemen. Until 1943, October 1st, Hitler bought his diesel from America, got his engines from America.
Yeah, they were Ford.
His money from England.
Yeah. Listen, the United States was right behind him. He was 1936, or was it 33?
I think I think American history
Times Man of the Year.
Yep.
I don't believe there at this point. I don't even believe there was a theater. I think what they were doing here in the UK is US is they were doing some real Nazi shit, and they had the public, oh, we're fighting a war against the Nazis, but really, by the way,
General Smedley.
Well, I'd like to go along those lines, but I have an uncle who was captured by the Russians at Stalingrad, so. And he was drafted. He was a farm boy from Koblenz.
Your uncle is a Mandela now, so
yeah, right. It could be. You'll see.
he was captured, but that's about trust law. So I'm not saying that they didn't move men and women and resources because there's money in it.
Well, I'm pretty sure the scars on top of his head from machine gun fire are pretty real. So, well, he's dead now, but
wait, did he get shot on the top of his head?
Strafed.
Wow.
Was that like a nick?
He escaped like 3 times.
So the bullet did not skim the helmet, but went through.
He wasn't wearing a helmet at that point in time. He was a POW. He was escaping. He escaped 3 times.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but he got recaptured. I mean, it was hard to get. I mean, you got to think of where they were. How do you get out of Soviet Russia?
So now you know Chuck Norris did exist. Thank you.
But
wait, is this
real? Like the Black Tom thing? That's an inserted thing. And then the other one, the Torpedo Alley, right off the coast of the Outer Banks, North Carolina, over 500 ships were sunk by German U-boats. And I'm like, what the fuck? No,
No, but remember, they've been selling us Americans that under every blade of grass because this Japanese, Americans are exception. See, but
Americans are pussies.
Okay.
If you want to see how big of pussies that they are, okay, look how many of them were afraid to not wear a mask. Look how many of them. That's how many of them are pussies. They can talk a big game. They can drive their big fucking truck. They can rack their goddamn shotgun and pop open their beer all the fuck they want to. But when it comes down to it, when the metal hits the meat, they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah, how black and white do you hand the rules? You get the rule set, and do you bend them? Do you follow?
I didn't follow one single.
No, you know what? You know what? Another reason I was shitting my pants when I was on the road and I saw. God bless them. They had Trump 2020. I'm like, what the?
I can never. I'm still mind blown by what bitches people were when like the mandates kicked in. I had no idea that I've been living around this sort of bullshit my whole life. Like, everybody sucks.
Season 6 or 7 of Supernatural. Cass comes back. He has released those demons from the netherworld. I forgot the names. And they get meat to feed us, and we get fat and sloppy.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
The upside down.
Yeah,
Well, we are in the upside down. If you think about it, everything is the fucking opposite of what they tell us. And
inversa.
this is the thing, and they say, well, how come all the scientists say this certain thing? And it's like, well, because you censored all the ones that didn't say it. That's why,
Yeah.
it's easy to say, when you got 4 out of 5 doctors agree, well, you just kill the
Yeah.
fifth one. Now it's 100%. You see?
Well, why was it only what the scientists say? Why didn't we want to talk about what the holy men say?
Oh, I'm getting there. Well, the scientists, okay, for instance, in this religion of pseudoscience, which is basically like well, it's heliocentrism. Okay. That whole religion, okay, has its own priests like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Brian Cox and Bill Nye, the bow tie wearing lion guy, and all these motherfuckers. Okay, those are their priests, and then you've got their saints. They've got their saints, Galileo and Copernicus and Sir Isaac Newton.
Come on,
Isaac
Einstein.
Newton did all this impossible shit by the time he was 23 years old. Kiss my ass.
And intelligent men believe that those names were real one persons.
Maybe. I mean, when you get into looking at some of the shit, was Einstein really brilliant? No, I don't think he was. The dude was crazy. He never spoke, and when he did, he was always reading something, and like a
crazy.
script.
He probably had a real bad childhood and that sort of stuff. He drank a lot. He beat his wife.
He wore women's shoes, K2. He wore women's shoes.
Sure.
And he married his cousin twice.
We will fight them on the beach. He did that too.
I mean, he actually married. He actually married 2 cousins. He did. You got
I wear women's socks.
What's that?
I wear women's socks sometimes. They're comfortable and they're shorter.
No, this dude actually wore women's high heel shoes. Yeah. I think he was just there and they were laughing at us. They're again mocking us. They're going, look at, we put this fool up there and everybody thinks he's
like with Stephen Hawking. The smartest man in the world is this guy.
Which one?
Hawking.
Yeah, version 1, 2, or 3.
I didn't realize there was more than one version.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you guys want to see what a bitch looks like? This is what a little bitch looks like. You've been talking about subjects that are a violation of YouTube's terms of service. No, we haven't.
Hawkins.
And when your video or channel gets shut down, it'll be because of you, Sean. It'll be because of you, but you won't get a chance to do anything. Okay? Just relax. Hold your little panties in a fucking ball and sniff them. Okay? You'll cry like little babies and blame everyone but yourself. Well, what have we talked about that's against YouTube's terms of service? If you could list that out there with your brilliance there, Sean, or do you just come here to be a fucking pain in the ass?
I know
is this someone who actually believes that hate and love can be legislated?
Yes.
Nope.
He actually believes we live on a spinning ball with little magic garbage cans flying around us.
Lick some boots more.
I just want to know what kind of boots taste the best.
I know.
He likes the ones that have been rubbed up in somebody's ass crack. I can guarantee you. Guarantee it. Yeah, that dude's a little shit brain fuck.
Not to get your channel banned, but I go down to etymology online and I just, anybody that just
the deviates right fairly quick.
No, Foxtrot, Alpha, Gamma, go look it up, what it means.
It's got numbers of meanings no matter where you go. There's even a food in England, that's what they call it. And it's like just people look, this is the whole thing. It's about controlling your mind. Okay. If they can get you to censor yourself from saying certain words and shit like that, then once they get you on that fucking
train of thought,
on that train of thought, well, then it's easy to get you to censor and get you to say certain things. And we all know the importance of words, the vibration, the actual spelling of the words. Those are actually 100% important when it comes to conveying an idea, because it's not just the words, it's the vibration that those words create.
And instead of action figures,
meaningful.
You
Instead
know
of
what? I was
actually
just self-censored the first thought I had with this dude, which is I ain't you know, the thing that just got spelled out, but I'd probably R alpha PE him just to prove a point.
Well, here's the
Seems-
thing. Here's the whole thing, Sean. Okay. You've not shown any science. You show pseudoscience. Okay. It doesn't prove anything at all. What it proves is that you're a bunch of fucking retards that'll believe dumb shit based on your perception. See, here's the problem with you, Sean. You're incredibly stupid, but you know you're stupid, but you think that if you parrot shit that is said by people you deem as smart, that by default makes you smart. But if you were smart, you would have already come to the idea that you don't live on a fucking ball, retard.
I'm gonna Pink Floyd, one of the only artists that I
Don't do Dark Side to the Moon. I'll break you.
Yeah,
Break
oh,
it down
that's
totally.
now there again. That's now the Dark Side of the Moon.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, and they changed the clip too with the teacher with a big puppet in Berlin. They changed it all. Check it out, dude.
yeah.
Roger Waters is
insane.
gone.
It's insane. That shit has and that's crazy. I mean, it's like what was that one in Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi, that line where it says it's all the same, only the names have changed. Now it's only the names will change. It's will.
And the clip used to start him coming out of the grave. That's gone.
Yeah.
He awakes from the grave and then he starts to sing. That's the old MTV clip.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to let him destroy a good stream. He just comes over here because nobody pays attention to him. He gets mad. He promoted one of my videos. I do want to thank.
I think he's enhancing the stream.
I do too, and I'd like to thank him for promoting my video that I put out last night. Hell, he's such a big fan that it wasn't even up 10 minutes before I got a notification that he had shared it already.
We were gone. Yeah.
Like, wow. And listen, Sean, I got to tell you, if this is some kind of a man crush, I'm married and I don't swing that way. So just letting you know right up front. Okay,
Well,
Notifications.
mandates. I'm sure he wore the diaper, so you know.
It's not gay if it's just to assert dominance.
Certainly not. Look it up in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, page 812.
What was
Gay.
it? What was that shirt I saw? It said, "I'm not gay, but $20 is $20." You know.
Yeah. Menace to society, man.
You guys hold it for a second. I'll be right back, man. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
We'll try to keep it in the air. And maybe you can take a look at this one when you get back. It's a short one.
What do you send me?
Eric, any topic you want to go into or burn?
Well,
You've got a scientific degree.
me?
Yeah, I thought you said something like that, or you got
No,
an
no. I have no degree.
Okay.
I'm not certifiable. I don't seek certificates.
Yeah, when the library burns down, you got nothing. So what certificate? Internalize.
Yeah.
Take it with you.
I'll sell you some certificates for on the cheap if you need them.
Well, I'm a graphic designer and I know how to publish. So I mean,
So I should be buying certificates from you.
well, let's be careful on that because I'm not licensed from the government. So
Yeah.
No, I
no,
would definitely never suggest anything like that on any sort of electronic communication.
no. But here's the thing: it's like if we're going to create our own if we're going to create our own society, and so X amount of people say, "Well, from the government." So I have a question. Well, I'm from the government, so who has the higher proof of claim? Just asking. I don't know. Like I got people running around my entire life. We're from the government. We're from the government. Well, maybe I'm from the government.
I mean, whoever's wearing a suit has the most authority in a room. That's
We don't take too kindly to people like that around these parts.
Or a white painter's coat.
We don't take too kindly to people.
Well, listen, I'm sure Dave and I are pretty much the same age. From what I gather, we kind of had a similar growing up sort of nature.
Yeah,
I've
nothing
been
wrong with
trying to
that.
figure out why a bunch of men and women keep running around me saying we're from the government. And I'm like, well, what the hell? So now at 51, I'm just going to start claiming, like, okay, you claim this and we claim the same thing. Where are we going to work that out? What court of law? I'm from the government.
Yeah, they have seen you past 50 and you do not conform. They miss a couple of John Hancocks from you.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
now they see the system. You have to sign this, and your pension is backwards, so you have to pay that. And so they get you, and you get a new system, and you got to take out a loan on your house. And this is
If you
cheaper.
carry a clipboard, if you're holding a clipboard, you can tell people to do
Yes,
anything.
you can.
Oh, and
Yes,
if you have a
you
little,
can.
like a little
Oh yeah,
piece of metal that like raccoons actually, not to sound racist, but oh, look, I got a shiny piece of metal.
yeah,
It
yeah.
didn't sound racist until you said that.
Yeah, I wasn't going there either.
Well, I know, but it's like,
Trash pandas.
Ravens, they take bling bling stuff.
Listen, those fucking things are, oh, I hated them when I lived in California. Those things are a mess.
If
They
you got
get
real
into shit.
ravens, oh
Yes, man. They'll tear open your fucking garbage, not to eat anything, just to spread it all over hell. It's insane, man. They will just tear shit up just to be dicks, and you can't shoot them because they're protected in California.
yeah, the high school bullies of the birds.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they'd tear out my trash, and then while I was out there picking it up, they'd be up on a pole or a tree or something, squawking at me like they was laughing at my ass for having to go out there and
Fuck
pick
you, nerd.
Yeah, right.
And to go up the
Oh,
ladder, he got
bastards.
Belly Bob that sells cars now, and he's married with a high school sweetheart, but he ain't happy. So that's a seagull, balding and older.
Well, say hello to everybody who showed up in the chat that I haven't seen yet. Got Jared Jaguar, Deborah Clark, Dreamy Lynn has showed up. Singular Illumination. Let's see, B. Maximus is here too. Deborah Clark, who we got? Sing is coming up. So we're gonna cut here in just about another 10 minutes, and I'm gonna cut off of YouTube and we'll go over to Rumble because as you can see, we're being monitored by a Karen. We're being monitored by a Karen.
No problem. She will love Jordan Peterson in this.
Yeah, so that's all right because we're gonna go in and we're gonna talk about some really cool shit when we get over there. I'll put the link again in the chat. It should be in the description of this video right now.
wait,
You should drop my link for the Karen.
wait, Dave. So you're gonna keep the StreamYard going, but the public, you're cutting off YouTube and.
Right, and then I'll just be strictly because right now we're on Rumble and YouTube at the same time.
Yeah, I want to talk about that because I'm pretty tech, but I want to start doing this stuff too because
Yeah,
I'm not sick of YouTube.
Once you get onto it, it's pretty easy. So I'm going to put the link to the show in the chat right now, just so if people want to start making their way over there. We're going to cut here in a few minutes on YouTube because we can talk about things over there that we're not allowed to talk about here. Okay. So once I go off of here, I'm going to set this YouTube video to private and I will re-upload it later to let's see, I'll be at the hour and 30. Well, I'll just make note of the time and I'll just re-upload this portion over onto the backup channel, Sav's Place. And the full thing will be, of course, available on Rumble because we can talk about things that YouTube usually has people freaking out and screeching over. And we got little bitches like Sean Hawkins that want to go and tattle and cry and screech and get pissed off and shit because we make him look stupid. Well, and he makes himself look stupid.
Yeah, WWE goes to AEW.
What's that now?
WWE goes to AEW at Rumble. A bit harder.
So we got Sing with us. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good. How is everybody doing here?
Hey, Sing, man.
Doing
I'm familiar with you. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How about yourself, Flo? It's been a while. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. I've been weeding out most online personalities, unsubscribing, and just
doing your thing.
Yeah.
outside of the propaganda laden reality that we seem to be living in. Oh my God. It's just like, can you believe the amount of bullshit that gets laid on your table every day?
Every
No,
10
what are you
seconds.
talking about, sovereign? That
No,
never
I mean,
happens.
I mean, it's like, you know, I try to keep track of what they're doing. You know, what are they talking about? And that gives me an idea as to like where they're going to go, you know, which direction things are headed, you know, what are they trying to make me believe, you know?
If I
See,
should use a
so
metaphor,
that's why I look at what's going on, and I'll tell you what, man, some of the things I'll just kind of like skim through the headlines, and half the time I got to go, wait a second, is this from the Onion? Is it? No, this is Babylon
Wait,
2, right?
does the Onion even exist in today's world? They must be. I mean, they started in the 90s. They must be gone now
I don't
because
know. Let's find out. Let's take a look real quick.
I mean,
I think the
the
Yeah.
Onion. I mean, that was before social media. Like it was a great.
Yeah, it is. It's still here.
rotten.com.
I
Oh,
remember
God,
that
no.
shit.
I think they shifted the Onion to
No,
the
they
dark
got
web, the torrent.
it's there, man. It's still there. Look, I got
No,
it
I'm,
up
I'm,
here
I
on the
don't
screen.
doubt you. I'm just saying I don't know what market segment they have because they were way ahead of the curve. Like,
Oh, I know, right? So there they
Napstar
got
too.
that. So they're still around.
wow. It
So
must be
you'd figure they used to be on Twitter and shit like that, but you know that they got fucking censored and banned. You know they did. I mean, look at you got these
how
screeching ass
can
Democrats.
Twitter ban the? I mean, the Onion existed before quote unquote social media. By the way,
Listen, this is what you have today. You got like these. You see, if Sean Hawkins was a female, he would have blue hair and be screeching and shit at the top of his lungs anytime somebody mentioned Donald Trump. This is how these libtards are. I've noticed that most libtards are globetards as well.
He would look like Lolo Ferrari.
They believe it all, man. They believe 9/11. They believe it all. Everything that's
face
come across.
snipers.
Yes, they believe every fucking thing.
The other two guests, one of you spoke on the Greek tradition.
Me, yeah.
The Pythagorean theorem speaks on gender, on the planeta and atoma, not on humans. It's,
Right.
it's also a construct under Zoroastrian.
Well, see, that's what I was talking about with it.
By the way,
This is what I was talking about with this fucking pseudoscience shit. So in 1945, they convinced people that they could split a theoretical object that no one had ever seen.
Ash to ash, dust to dust. That's it.
So then they say, "Oh yeah, we got these. We got it. It's a big nuclear bomb now. We can split the atom and all this other shit." And it's like, no, you can't. Shut up.
Yeah, I want to look it up now, but it's too long. It's 20 minutes and it's fucking boring. It's an old friend of mine, and he's showing you how a computer chip works, and it's nothing more than stacking the system one on one on one on one. You have one gateway you go through, you get one and one and one. It's a pizza.
I had accidentally put the Meltcheck just put it in there. I had put the YouTube link in. I'm a retard. And I was like, well, everybody's already at YouTube. That's why we want to see what we got. So let me see. Over on Rumble, I got 44 people over there watching now.
I'm gonna
versus 40 over here. I'm gonna give it about 5 more minutes, and then we're gonna cut over, and then we're gonna talk on the
Are you bringing somebody over in here, a Karen or something? Somebody
No. See what's going on is I'm live right now, saying on 2 platforms.
Okay, I got that. Yeah.
I'm on YouTube and Rumble. Rumble doesn't censor you for talking about subjects that YouTube will shut you down for. Okay,
Get sent on the private chat.
And so
checking my system.
Are we going to sensitive subjects?
Oh yeah, well yeah, I would
got a,
say that they're mild subjects, in my opinion.
I
But
got a nice movie for you from the Flying Machine.
the blue-haired
UFO.
blue-haired communists in the basement of Google do not agree. And when you've got little Karen bitches like Sean Hawkins stalking in your chat, waiting for you to make a mistake so that they can report your fucking channel.
The block watch specialist. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's what I'll end up doing is I'm going to go ahead and then once I leave
He's
here, I'm
just
gonna set it.
defending what he perceives as an attack on his religion.
Well, yes, even atheists need a religion, and they do have that. Like I said, it has its saints, it has its priests.
And it's other men, which is like sort of a regression, I think, from gods or, which are ideals and perfect to other dudes, which is sort of homoerotic.
Yeah, it's
an attack on
a lot
religion.
of homoerotic shit involved with the whole rocket thing. You got this big flaming penis flying up into the air, penetrating the atmosphere. Come on.
Spreading those clouds apart.
Yeah.
Ask anyone, academic or a priest. They've been to seminary, so they have the whole system indoctrinated. Ask them, why is it still a theory? We're 150 years in the future. Why is it still a theory? You haven't proven shit.
What did you say? Who said something? Even atheism needs what was that?
Atheism needs, it's because atheists need a religion.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I made up a meme, and actually I was gonna. Atheism is a gateway drug to statism and scientism. So I call atheism a gateway drug.
It is, because you start getting into scientism or pseudoscience, as we said, and like we showed last night with Burn the Corporate Fiction, in the video that I released on there, was that, look at this. They even admitted that we know this is wrong, but we have to use it because otherwise our calculations don't work. Well, then why are you still using it? That's the whole thing. Well, because then it makes people believe in these preposterous fucking ages of things. I've got a picture here somewhere of a German sailor who petrified. Let me see.
For those of us that actually look into etymology and things,
yes,
I'm always fascinated when we see, it's archaic. So the public, it means it's like I like archaic things.
Archaic, archaean, translations and annotations. You speak, you have language, you have tongue. You speak with your tongue, you form verb sounds.
Well, and they think if they can throw a few words at you and say a couple, confuse you with some stupid mathematical equation, that's somehow going to make it what they say valid.
First,
but you can catch them in their fantastical
confession. I got all his DVDs and all his CDs. Michael Jackson, the number ABC. Listen to that. Listen very well. They don't sing ABC. A to C.
What?
A to C. Do you see? You have to listen. It's tonation.
See, that's the thing. So you remember Michael Jackson? He was with what? The Jackson 5, right?
Right.
Diana Ross.
Okay, so now apparently there were 6 of them.
9.
Yeah.
There were 9. 4 girls, 5 boys.
No, I mean in the singing group.
That's the drummer. Nobody knows him.
Look at this.
He was from the Milkman.
On Abbey Road.
There we go. All right. Well, I'm going to put that over into the chat one more time. As I said before, some people are a little afraid. They say, oh, well, I'm not going to go to Rumble because they want this, that, and the other, and privacy settings and this, that, and the other. Well, you got the same thing on YouTube. Okay. So if you've done it on YouTube, the same agreement is on the Rumble, but there again, you do not have to join Rumble in order to watch. You just have to in order to be able to chat.
Yeah, did you read the new statement 2 days ago?
Actually,
they refreshed.
Comment. Look up the definition of comment. Just another rabbit hole.
Yeah. Comenta.
There you go. There you go. What's this? That Lulu knows. Hey, Michael, I search. Hey. Oh, okay. I see what he's got going on. All right, cool. Got people over there talking in the chat right now. We've got 43 people over there. What I'm going to do here now is those of you, I put the link in the chat to go over to Rumble. I also have it in the description of this video. And with that, we're going to tell YouTube you can go eat a bag of dicks. Goodbye.
Eat a bag of dicks.
If you enjoyed this clip, this first portion of the show, then be sure and go over to my Rumble page. My handle over there is SSUM369. Check it out. The rest of the recording is there, where we discuss things that would have surely gotten us in trouble on YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe to the backup channel, to the main channel, and like, share, subscribe. And don't forget to join us. Hit the bell notification so that you know of upcoming broadcasts. So hope to see you in the next one. Like I said, go over there to Rumble and check out the rest of it. It got to be pretty good. So y'all have a great day. And as we usually say, Lord loves the working man. Don't trust Whitey. See your doctor and get the fuck rid of him. You guys have a great night.